Hey, happy Tuesday. Happy book review day. Today's book is Rebel Girl by Kathleen Hanna. I listened to it as an audiobook, so Kathleen actually read the book, which was awesome. I really enjoy when people who are gifted performers do their audiobooks because obviously they're telling you the stories directly. So I really enjoyed this. Unfortunately, it means I don't know if there are photographs in there or pictures or drawings or any of that kind of stuff, because I didn't see the physical book and I got it through the library, so I didn't get a PDF with it. But it's a cool book. I didn't previously know much about Kathleen Hanna other than kind of her connection to Nirvana fame. She's literally the one who coined the phrase "smells like Teen Spirit," and so I was familiar with that. I knew that she was in a band named Bikini Kill. I forgot that she was part of Le Tigre, which I did listen to later, and like in the 2000s. But anyway, I picked up the book because I always like a good memoir, especially from a musician and somebody who's a creative. But I went in fairly blind, not knowing a lot about her. And in short, she lived a really interesting life. She unfortunately had a really bad upbringing with her father being emotional and physically abusive, and she talks pretty openly about that. As a female musician, she also talks about the sexual assaults that she suffered, and just some of the other just mistreatments and out and out discouragements that she encouraged from or received from people as well. And so it's a really interesting depiction and just the other side of the story from the traditional sex, drug, and rock and roll kind of story that you get by the male perspective from that time. She begins her life and career out in Olympia, Washington, and so she is definitely in that circle of the grunge movement and that kind of thing, and knows all of the movers and shakers. One of the band members in Bikini Kill was dating Kurt Cobain, and so she was very close to that whole thing as well. But then at a certain point, she moves out to DC, and so then she also experiences the East Coast part of it, where she meets Ian MacKaye, and a lot of the punks in DC, and gets to know the Beastie Boys periodically. They kind of pop in and out of her life. Usually Mike D, oddly enough, because I don't know if you know or not, but currently Kathleen Hanna is married to Adam Horovitz, aka Ad Rock. And so it's interesting that there are these moments where Mike D kind of pops in and out of her life. But she tells the whole story. The first kind of third is really childhood upbringing up to joining Bikini Kill. Then there's the big middle chunk, which is Bikini Kill primarily. And then kind of the last third is the Julia Riot, I think, was her kind of solo experimental electronic thing. I think that's what it was called. I don't remember now. I'm sorry. And then Le Tigre, and she talks about her marriage to Adam Horovitz and her struggles with Lyme disease also. So there's lots of interesting stories throughout there. If you're a fan of 90s music, I think you'd enjoy it because it definitely, you get a different perspective on that world. If you're just interested in, musicians and creative people, and kind of what makes them tick, you definitely get that as well. I really enjoyed her perspective on being an activist and a musician and trying to figure out a way to make those two things fit. One of the things she does at some of her early shows is essentially she acts as a sort of sexual assault survivor counselor, where she's just meeting with women and hearing their stories, and if nothing else, showing that somebody cares and listens, and also She does also address, there are various times where she danced as a stripper. And so how do you be a feminist and a stripper and a musician and an activist? And she talks very openly about those struggles. So anyway, I really enjoyed it. I would definitely recommend Rebel Girl. The subtitle is My Life as a Feminist Punk. Kathleen Hanna. What are you reading?